Hi, my name is Sam Haugestu, and thank you so much for taking the time to check out my video series on how to talk to strangers. In the first video, we talked about your introduction and how to leave a great first impression. In the second video, we talked about leading a conversation with questions and how to be interesting. Now in this third video, I want to talk about your follow-up, how to take this initial meeting and turn the person into a potential friend or client. And if you've done the first two parts well, then really this last part is fairly painless and quite effective. And I guess the best place to start would probably be with an essential that I maybe should have touched on in the last video, and that's exchanging your contact info. Now, following up is a process, and it starts during your initial conversation. If you've done your intro well and you've exchanged names, and if you've led the conversation with questions and stayed focused on genuinely caring about the other person, then exchanging contact info is no problem. So make sure you do that. And in this world of technology, it's easy. You can email it or text it, or since Haugestoon is so hard to spell, I oftentimes will just enter it in someone's phone for them. Just make sure that you have their permission before taking their phone. Or you can just even write it on a napkin. Whatever, just make sure you get them your contact information. This will show that you are vulnerable and again help build trust. And just like the principle of reciprocity works with caring and interest, it also works with sharing contact info. The most natural thing for them to do after receiving your contact info will be to reciprocate. They'll want to give you their info. Just make sure you don't skip the relationship building part. Just throwing your business card at someone is pretty uncaring. And if you try to just cut straight to the exchange of information, missing the connection, people are going to be a little bit hesitant and reserved, and maybe even suspicious and untrusting. You must start with genuinely seeking to build the relationship. Now, once you've exchanged your contact information and you've parted ways, within the first 24 to 48 hours, I like to send a simple, non-intrusive follow-up message. And in this message, I'll thank them for their time, and I'll express my enjoyment in the conversation, and I'll show gratitude for the specific piece of information that I got from them, or the value that I felt that I gained from our interaction. And that's it. Think of this as the first of many stepping stones in a stream. You've left the bank of being strangers, but you've not yet reached the bank of being friends or colleagues. Now, depending on the length or the depth, the topic of the interaction, I would typically not ask for anything, or even mention what I have to offer in the first message. But I certainly will if we've already discussed this and it's a highly reasonable expectation that I should. For example, if we discussed a problem at length that I or my organization have a solution for, and it was mutually understood that I would reach out with my solution, then I will. But otherwise, if this is still just a new acquaintance, then my message is only going to be about strengthening our connection. I just want to cement in my memory and in the memory of the other person the connection that we made. So by the simple follow-up, I'm less likely to forget them, and I will build up their value in my own mind, and I'll build up their sense of self-worth by thanking them for their contribution to the conversation, and they're much less likely to forget me because now not only have I shown interest in our initial conversation, but I've reached out a second time, twice adding value to them without asking anything in return. Now, I don't know the exact number, and it's probably a little different in every situation, but I've heard that it takes 4 to 5 interactions before a sales transaction actually has money change hands. And this is all we're going for with our follow-up. You know, whether you're transforming a contact into a friend or a colleague or a client, there's going to need to be several points of contact and interaction to build trust before a relationship can be fully established. Now, it's easy to get excited about a new client or prospect, especially if they seem interested in what you have to offer, but you don't want to rush this process because you'll risk damaging the relationship, or worse yet, your reputation. So to avoid this, it's best to become a great networker. I mean, if you can build up the courage to interact with one new person once, then you can do that again and again. And if you make it part of your regular daily habit to meet new people, you'll have lots of leads and potential clients so that you won't smother any one person. Then just reach out and gently remind them from time to time that you exist. But offer your service or your product or your friendship only after you've built the foundation and are relatively certain that it's a good fit for you both. And don't worry if it's not a great fit, because every person you meet knows other people, and they may just be the avenue by which you do meet your best fit. So like your introduction, like your conversation, your follow-up will be determined by your heart. If you are focused on receiving, you're likely going to be frustrated and not have the success that you want. But if you can overlook your potential benefit and focus on caring for others and adding value to them and building them up or building up the relationship, then I believe you will have the right friends, the right people, the right transactions at the right time. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I want to encourage you to seek first the kingdom of heaven and its righteousness, because it's there that you'll find the identity and the confidence to be able to approach other people without being needy. And you'll find countless reasons to care about and be interested in other people with no ulterior motive. And if you do this, I believe that everything that I've shared will start to happen for you supernaturally. But having watched these videos, you may be able to recognize it more quickly and more acutely. I do so hope that you have been benefited by this video series, and I invite you and ask you to please subscribe to my YouTube channel for more great info on personal, relationship, and business development. And may the creator of the universe be your closest friend. Talk to you soon.